Welcome to another adventure of the world of Paleoman52. Today is something a little different, and what I want to show you is something I used to do back about 13, 14 years ago. During the time of practicing flintknapping, I needed a break, so I decided to take up the art of making Cedar Love Flutes. At that time, I really didn't have any instruction from the internet or anything else, so I ended up getting a flute from a friend. I studied it, I tried to make my own design, and what you see here are some of the flutes I came up with. So I'm going to hand over my camera to a very capable assistant. My wife is here today to help me shoot this, and I'm going to show you what some of these flutes sound like and tell you a little bit about them. Okay, so let's start off with something like the most basic type. A flute like this is pretty much a tube flute. You can see the end is not so much rounded as it is oval. And I made this particular flute out of walnut. Beautiful wood to work with. And what you notice is the harder the wood, the stronger the voice. So that's got a real clear, strong voice. Kind of next in line here is one that I was making quite a while. Was what I call the loons, and you can see the head resembles sort of a kind of a waterfowl type thing. And I always tried to make it that there was an eye showing, at least on one side of the head. This one I entered in the county fair, and I got a blue ribbon on in the woodworking category. Now it's not my best playing flute, but it is kind of a pretty thing. And I'll talk a little bit more of the construction as we go on. This one's got a nice voice. So it's a little softer. It doesn't have the strength that the walnut one does, but it does play very nicely. Now as you make flutes, you try to get creative and make different designs. This one here is probably my most craziest one. This is the snake flute. You can see it's got a couple pairs of fangs in there, and he's got red eyes. That's glass beads, and the fangs are dentalia shells that were traded numerously by the Sioux Indians. So also notice in this area here I always have a bird, and that's what really makes the flute play, and I'll talk about that on one of the other flutes here. But this one's got kind of a real soft, hissy voice. See, it's not as loud or as strong, so kind of appropriate for something like a snake. Now, this one here is very simple, another tube flute. It's made out of some wood that I got from a friend in Washington State. It's a 200-year-old, 200-plus-year-old Alaskan yellow cedar that he found on a mining claim he had in the Cascades. The wood is really, really citrusy smelling when you work with it, and it's got a lot of power to it. And you can see each one of these has its own unique voice. So when I got to around, let me first say I made 138 flutes in the time that I was making them. I either traded or I sold some to help to buy some more wood. And this was flute number 100. And when I got to the point of making 100 flutes, I decided that I had to make something special. So I decided to make a wolf flute. And he's got nice glass blue eyes. He's got some pretty good dentalia fangs. And if you notice here in the area where the bird should be, there's a little small wolf with red eyes. Now, again, this isn't the best playing flute. It has a nice voice. It's not the most powerful, but this is number 100. Again, you know, kind of a nice, soft, mellow tone. For this particular flute, because it was number 100, I made a bag for it, and I fringed it, one deer hide here, and it's got a handle, and I would carry that around and use it to keep my flute protected. Now, what I'm working down to now is talk a tiny bit about the wood. Typically, when I made a flute, I like to use this type of material here. This is Eastern red cedar. Now, if you sand this, it smells like the aromatic cedar that kids would put in the bottom of their hamster cage, or you can put in your dresser drawers. This is a very good wood to work with. It makes a gorgeous flute. One of the flutes here, this one here, was made out of this wood. You can see the difference in that. And what I would do to finish these flutes is I would rub them with beeswax and Vaseline mixture, which made a pasty beeswax. So in the process of making flutes, I decided that I wanted to try something really extreme. And this piece of wood here came to me. I had about 3 or 4 pieces like this. And what this is 1,510-year-old wood from the Genesee River. You can see, I don't know how well the camera will show, but it's really tight grained, so it must have been a cold climate, and the tree growth was very slow because the rings are very, very tight on this wood. I thought, why not try to make a flute out of it? So this is the flute that I came up with, a little dusty. This is the 1,510-year-old wood here, and appropriately, this flute has the softest, quietest voice of all of them. So that flute plays really, really nicely. And that pretty much wraps up what I wanted to show you guys about this hobby I had. I haven't made any since 1998, and I decided that I had achieved the goal. I wanted to make a flute that I could carry around that would be my own, learn to play it. Not the world's best flute player, but I enjoy playing them from time to time, and I thought I'd share that with everyone out there. So thanks for checking this little video out, and I hope you enjoyed it.